in the UK and other places. I've done a lot of sailing. I've sailed around the world. I've been here 3 or 4 times in my own yacht. I've sailed around North America, so within 900 miles of the North Pole. I've sailed around South America, around Cape Horn. I'm the only man in the world to sail all the way around America in a figure of 8. Nobody in the world has ever done that except me.
I've always said true joy is forgetting yourself and go try to help someone else.
That's how it all got started for Luke Mickelson. It was 2012 and he was looking for a service project that he could do with young men from his Twin Falls Latter-day Saints church congregation.
That's where we learned that there was a family in the community that had kids sleeping on the floor.
Luke and the boys decided to get those kids a bunk bed, but not at the store, rather build it in Luke's garage.
I thought, you know what better way to teach these boys how to work hard, we'll just go make one.
The bed was dropped off and the service project was finished, but Luke wasn't. He and his wife Heidi decided to build another bunk with their kids for a needy family at Christmas time.
We knew how to do it at that point, so it took about 3 or 4 nights, but as a family we built a second bunk bed.
And another and another. In fact, the Mickelsons built 11 beds within 1 year and posted about their projects on Facebook. Soon, people were dropping off mattresses, sheets, and pillows to give away with the bunks, and friends in Boise started building beds for kids in their community.
So we built 25 the second year, 51 the next year, 77 the year after that.
Word spread about the project, and Sleep in Heavenly Peace chapters began popping up across the country. Group members solicit sponsorships, donations, and volunteers, then hold building days where the beds are assembled and delivered to people in need.
We have corporations that are looking for ways for their employees to come together as a team for a team building exercise.
As Sleep in Heavenly Peace grew, Luke reached a turning point in October 2017.
And when I said, hey, I don't know what to do here, I've either got to quit my job or I've got to really stop or slow down this SHP growth. And it just wasn't a question.
So he resigned from his full-time job.
You're living in a community that's desperate to thank you. So let's just start by removing the flag.
2 weeks later, Mike Rose showed up in Twin Falls and surprised the couple with this warehouse on his Returning the Favor show.
Gonna be all right, Luke?
From there, Sleep in Heavenly Peace exploded. Appearances on NBC Nightly News, The Today Show, and last year, CNN named Luke one of America's top 10 heroes.
By giving them free beds.
There are now 160 chapters in 40 states, and Sleep in Heavenly Peace recently launched a disaster relief program.
Basically, the funds go and help those chapter presidents near where those disasters have happened, and we hope to fund bunk bed builds and get those specific families, those kids, into beds.
Since 2012, Sleep in Heavenly Peace has built around 5,000 bunk beds total. But this year, the goal is to assemble 10,000, giving 20,000 kids a place to sleep.
In 5 years, I see us in multiple countries across the globe and helping over 100,000 kids a year.
The mission statement for Sleep in Heavenly Peace is no kid sleeps on the floor in our town. All it takes is one bed, one visit to a child, and Luke says your life will be changed, like his was the first time he dropped off one of the bunks he had built.
We walked into this room that this little girl was sharing with her sister. There was no furniture in there, but in the corner was all her wadded up school clothes, or clothes period, and that's what she slept on. So her routine was she'd wake up, she'd take her pajamas off, put on her school clothes, go to school, come back, take her school clothes off, put her pajamas on, and sleep on her school clothes. I couldn't take it. No kid sleeps on the floor in our town.
In Twin Falls, Nate Eaton, EastIdahoNews.com.
Tonight, we are hearing from a man who gave a dog a second lease on life when he adopted her from a shelter in New Jersey. But that dog then returned the favor when the man suddenly found himself in the fight for his own life.
News 4's Ida Siegel with the story of a man and his dog and a bond that will never be broken now.
This 6-year-old German Shepherd named Sadie wasn't the easiest dog to get along with at the Ramapo Bergen Animal Refuge. She was an anxious pup who didn't always go well with men. But tonight, she's being called a hero.
I don't know how she knew to do it, but that she was able to pull me the way she did. I was so grateful to her.
Brian Myers rescued Sadie just a few months ago. A couple weeks ago, she rescued him. Brian had a stroke in his Teaneck home in the middle of the night and collapsed to the floor. We talked to him from his rehab facility tonight.
She laid down next to me and was kissing my face and crying. And I could see that she was in distress over me being on the floor.
Brian was able to grab onto Sadie's collar, and she took it from there.
She instinctively started to pull backwards, and that was enough to enable me to shuffle with her out of where I was.
Because of Sadie, Brian made it to the phone to call for help.
I live alone, so if she hadn't come and did what she did, I might as well have been worse off than I am right now.
Brian can't speak as clearly as he used to, but he's going to be okay. The folks at the shelter were amazed to hear that the dog who had trouble making friends had sealed a lifelong bond with her new owner.
To us, Brian's a hero. He saved Sadie, and now Sadie saved him, so it's like the most incredible match.
I miss her tremendously. I can't wait to see her, give her a hug and a kiss, and I'll probably cry my eyes out doing so.
They're hoping Sadie's story will encourage other people to take rescue animals into their homes.
There are many other dogs there waiting to be somebody's hero.
Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
And tonight, a story you'll only see on KHOU 11 News. A boy in Atascocita manages to save his entire family.
He is a little boy who, as Lauren Tallarico explains, has been nothing short of a miracle since the day he was born.
My name's Angie. This is Michael. He's 7, gonna be 8.
Michael Martinez is like a lot of kids in a lot of ways.
Do you like school?
Nope.
He loves wrestling.
And they punch each other.
And he doesn't always do what he's told.
Can I stop?
But there are things that set him apart.
Because I don't want to be in a wheelchair.
Michael has cerebral palsy. He was born at 27 weeks old, weighing just 3 pounds.
But I thank God he's here.
He's mom and dad's little miracle. But some things are still hard.
Whenever I take him to school, the kids stare at him. He wants to play and walk and run like the other kids.
What does that feel like for you as a mom?
We had our moment where me and Michael just cried and just held each other.
But last week, this family found out not all heroes come in capes. Some come in wheelchairs.
Do you know that you saved your family's lives?
Last week, 7 of his family members were sleeping when Michael heard a beeping sound.
And I was shaking.
Why were you shaking?
I was scared.
But Michael crawled to his parents' room, woke him up, and found out.
It was carbon monoxide that did.
Carbon monoxide, an odorless, poisonous gas that can be deadly. It was coming from their stove, and no one knew. That beeping Michael heard was an alarm the adults didn't hear.
You're a little hero. He saved our family.
This little guy can't fly or walk yet. But he is no doubt the biggest hero this family will ever know. Standing for Houston, I'm Lauren Tallarico, KHOU 11 News.
Carbon monoxide is called the silent killer for a reason. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. And it's almost impossible to know it's there without a detector. Malfunctions of your stove, furnace, water heater, or fireplace are the main culprits. While running your car in the garage can also build up CO. Experts recommend installing at least one carbon monoxide detector on every level of your home, especially near bedrooms and if you have an attached garage. Because carbon monoxide is slightly lighter than air, the EPA recommends detectors should be placed on a wall about 5 feet above the floor or on the ceiling. Each detector should be replaced every 5 to 6 years.
This car has a special job for a village called Bardo in northern Nigeria. It's saving the lives of pregnant women and their babies. The nearest hospital is 30 kilometers away. Before the car arrived, it took too long to get people there in an emergency. But now,
everyone in the village of Bardo has my number. It serves as the emergency contact. People call on me and I drop whatever I'm doing, whatever time of the day it is, and I run to their aid.
People fixing the world.
18 pregnant women died in this village over a 2-year period. When Halima saw her friends and their babies losing their lives, she had an idea: to get their own car for emergencies.
We had experienced enough death and hardship as a result of childbirth because they don't have access to an emergency vehicle.
My water broke at 11 p.m. and kept running all night. But despite my husband's effort to find a car or even motorcycle, we were unable to get any help until the following day. We got a motorcycle that was able to get us to the roadside, where we were finally able to get a car to hospital. I was able to give birth without a C-section, but my baby was already dead due to all the trauma he had gone through.
If she'd been able to get to hospital sooner, she thinks her baby would have survived.
I gathered the women together so we could talk about a project that we could focus on.
They received an allowance from the government to help pay for essentials and agreed to save some to buy their own emergency vehicle. In a few months, they raised about $3,000.
So we sent someone in our village to buy a car. On the day it eventually came, we had a huge celebration.
They called the car Haihua Lafia, or Safe Motherhood. The next time Hassana was ready to give birth,
I got my husband to call the driver. We were able to get to the hospital in good time. As soon as we got there, I was well taken care of and gave birth around 4 a.m. The driver waited for me until I was ready to leave the hospital, and he took me and the babies home. There is no doubt that if we didn't have this car, I would have lost my babies.
Yunusa Muhammad is the driver and the village emergency contact.
As the emergency driver, I always make sure that I keep calm as I drive. I do this job with a lot of pride, and I'm always happy to help in any way I can because I see it as a duty.
The driver takes about 30 women a month to hospital. The pregnant women's family pay $3 to use the car. Most of that goes on fuel and maintenance. Yunusa gets a small fee too. Halima is proud of what they've done, but thinks they shouldn't have had to pay for it themselves.
If the government had provided us with the basic healthcare facilities we needed, then we wouldn't have had to use that stipend for something the government should have provided in the first place.
More than 50,000 women die every year in Nigeria because of complications in childbirth. When the state governor heard their story, he decided to help other villages. But instead of buying each one a car, he decided to pay people who already own a vehicle to drive women to hospital. Halima is pleased the state is helping other women, but says Bardo won't switch to the government scheme.
Honestly, we would much prefer to have the car here at our disposal and the driver right here in our town. That way, we have control over our emergency situation. We know it is not perfect, but the women in this village are a team, and we make sure issues that affect us are resolved.